back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome, and if you're an oldie but a goodie, an OG, then thank you so much for coming back to another video. So in this video here, we are going to talk all about studying, some general study tips, and how I've been getting through the hard classes in, I will say, just a general healthcare program. Like, I don't want to target this video just to like one subject or one major or anything. I think that this video is going to be more so about how I got through the hard classes under the umbrella of a healthcare major. So if we think about the hard classes, it's probably going to be anatomy, physiology, pathophysiology, pharmacology, health assessment, like med surg, like those type of classes. So I'm going to be giving you guys my study tips, basically what I do to study for these type of classes. I feel like I get these questions all the time. People want to know, like, how do you study for anatomy? How do you study for pharm? Like things like that. So yeah, like I said, I'm just going to be talking about the main things that I do to kind of focus on those classes, how I've been acing those classes, even back in nursing school, even like before that, prereqs, anatomy, all that stuff. So if you guys want to know more about my study tips, and of course, just keep on watching. All right, so the first pointer that I want to throw out, you guys, is that you really need to learn what your study style is. I know that you guys have probably heard this, you know, from your teachers, and whenever you're in school or study sessions, tutors, you always want to know what your study style is. So there are a few different study styles. Some people are auditory learners, meaning that they can listen to something, like, say, you know, you go to lecture, you can have your eyes closed and you're just listening to the playback. A lot of people like recording the lectures, so auditory is one of them. Then of course you have the visual learners, which are people that like to see charts, they like to see things, just that, I mean, visual, you have to have like pictures and colors and things to kind of bring it to life. And then you also have like the learners that like to like read, and they're more like, you need to know the information, and they can read the textbook and then they'll remember information that way. So you really have to try and figure out what your study style is, or I'm sorry, what your learning style is. And like I said, a lot of people learn in different ways. And so basically in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys like my things that work for me, because I think that when it comes down to like talking about studying and how I study, or you're looking at somebody else and you're like, how is she making straight A's and I'm studying the same way? Could be that that is just not your way to learn. So try and figure that out. You can do like trial and error and just see what works for you. So I'm going to tell you guys what works for me. I actually use a combination of like all things. I mean, I'm very much so a visual learner. I think that if you guys have been watching me, or you watch the vlogs and you guys have been with me, you know that I like to have things color coordinated. I like highlighting. I like kind of grouping things, and I definitely need like pictures and things, especially when it comes down to courses such as anatomy and physiology. That is like for sure going to be a visual type of course. As well as pharmacology, I think that putting things into a visual perspective is definitely helpful. So I will talk further on in the video like what's my main thing that I use for visuals, but I kind of just want to throw out like the main things before I like jump into that. Yeah, that is tip number one, and that is of course just to know your study style. So if you're an auditory learner, of course, listening back to your lectures. Ask your instructors if you can record the lectures and you can listen back to them. I wasn't really one that learned that way. I think that if I just heard it once, you know, that was it. And I was all about taking my notes. I still take notes like during the lectures. Well, we don't have lectures in grad school anymore, but in undergrad, when I was taking these classes, you know, we had live lectures, and they would just lecture about the material, and of course I would be taking notes. A good important pointer, again, another thing that I recommend for you guys that do still have lectures, or those of you that are in like undergrad courses, and that is to print out your lectures before you get to the class. So PowerPoint, PDFs, whatever your instructors use. I feel like most instructors use PowerPoint. So print out the slides and take them with you to your lecture, because that way you have something right then and there. Again, going back to me, I don't like to use a computer and like take notes directly on the computer. I always printed out my lectures. I had my different color pens, my highlighters on the desk, and whenever the instructors were lecturing, I would basically be taking notes next to the lectures. So that was my way, because then when I left class, I would have those PowerPoints grouped together, and I can go back and study that material. And I had things written on the side, like whatever the instructor said, it would be written in red or whatever. But you know, I had that group of material that is like what you need to study. So yeah, again, when speaking about like study styles, it also comes down to the instructor. Like not every instructor is going to teach the same way. So I'll go back to my personal experience with anatomy and physiology. I just want to throw this out there because I know like a lot of people want to ask about this class. So how did I personally study for anatomy and physiology? I did make flashcards during the anatomy portion. So for example, if we were learning a certain bone or like a certain muscle and where it was attached to or whatever, you know, you guys know if you're an A&P, you kind of know like the things that you need to know. So I was making flashcards because we actually had quizzes. If I think back, you guys, this was a while back. I took anatomy and physiology my first semester as a freshman, so this was my first experience into college. So yeah, it was like about 5 or 6 years back. So that is the main thing that I did with anatomy. It was making my flashcards and stuff. And of course I had a book, a visual book, because you guys know anatomy is all about the bones, the muscles, like where organs are located in the body. And then of course the physiology section is more of like putting that together. So yeah, anatomy and physiology is definitely a challenging course, but the main thing with any hard class is definitely staying organized. You have to organize your notes, you guys. Like whenever you go to lectures and things like this, you need to have something, okay? You need to have either your slides, the notes that you take in class, whatever it may be, printouts, whatever your instructors do, you need to keep that in like say a binder, a notebook, like whatever works for you, okay? So going back to making sure you know what works for you and definitely keeping that organized, because when it comes down to like test time and you're scrambling around and you're like, okay, we learned this in chapter 1, but then we also had this article that where they pulled information from. So keep it together, because that's gonna definitely like decrease anxiety when it comes down to like test time and you're scrambling trying to find information. Like you need to have it all condensed and you know, okay, this is exam 1 and this is what I need to study for exam 1. Okay, so next question that I get asked all the time is, do you read the book? Do you read the chapters? How do you work with that? Because we all know that when it comes down to like the hard classes, like pharm and patho and all this stuff, the teachers will assign a ton of chapters for you to read. They're basically going to be like, okay, we're doing the respiratory system, so just read chapters 6 through 10, and it's just like, that is not realistic, okay? It's just not realistic that you're going to read those chapters and absorb the information. I'm not one to absorb information through reading a textbook, and I learned that very early on into my, you know, education and my college career. When it comes down to reading a textbook, I don't retain information that way. Like I just can't sit down and be like, all right, I'm going to read all of chapter 10 and expect myself to retain that information. So basically the way that I use the book is to go back and pull information that I am unclear of. So for example, if my instructor was to say post a PowerPoint and we're talking about, I don't know, congestive heart failure, and I'm just throwing things out there. So let's say there was something that I was unclear of, you know, with congestive heart failure, then I would go to that chapter in the book, read the whole entire section on congestive heart failure and see if I can kind of paint the picture in my mind. So that is how I personally use textbooks. Like I said, teachers will assign the readings to you, but you guys, most instructors should have like some type of guide, say whether it be a PowerPoint presentation, or even if instructors don't do that, you should at least have your course objectives in the syllabus. And so that is something that you should always be going back to when it comes down to study, and even objectives of each lesson. So that is something that you guys need to be going back to look at, because if say your instructor doesn't really provide you with material, kind of like what I'm dealing with right now in health assessment, we don't really have material to study. We kind of have to fish for it ourselves. So I basically go back to my course objectives and look at those objectives, write them down, and be sure that I know them, because that's kind of the point of the lesson. Okay guys, so next I want to talk about my go-to app when it comes down to studying. I've already talked about this before in my How I Study Pharmacology video. I do have a video specifically on pharmacology, which is gonna be a little bit repetitive from this video, because the way I studied for pharmacology was very similar to the way that I study for these hard classes such as anatomy and physiology. It's kind of all learning your study style and then applying that to whatever subject you're learning. Okay? So you guys should already know if you're an OG, but this is the Picmonic app. I've been using this app, you guys, since my first semester of pharmacology, so it's been like 3 semesters now. I'm still currently using it for this semester right now because I'm taking health assessment. And when it comes down to health assessment, you still need to know like the landmarks in the body. Like I just got done with the eye ophthalmology and stuff, so I did use Picmonic to go back and look at like the eye structures and maybe like the cranial nerves and try to paint those pictures in my head. So I'm still currently using the app. If you don't know what Picmonic is, this is the app right here. It's basically a study app which helps you. Actually, I didn't start off using it through the app. I was using it like on my computer, and so I was just go to like picmonic.com and like watch the videos on like each body system. I started off when I was studying for my antibiotics, which you guys know with pharmacology is probably like everybody knows like, oh my gosh, antibiotics, like this is gonna be the hard portion, and it is. I mean, antibiotics, there's a lot, you guys. You have penicillins, we have the sulfas, the macrolides, I mean, it's just a lot of subcategories when it comes down to antibiotics. So I really needed a visual to kind of help me remember like side effects and what each is used for, just so much stuff. Basically what Picmonic does is it paints a picture. So it'll be like one picture and it'll have the drug and it'll have like things that will help you remember what it is saying and kind of help you with the names and attach it to like a mnemonic. So I'll give you guys an example so that you could kind of get the picture in your head. And I always think about, let's say the macrolides as a class of antibiotics. So macrolides, I remember they were showing like macaroni lights. So they had like little lights, and then macrolides end in thromycin. So for example, like azithromycin, erythromycin, clarithromycin. Okay, these are all like drugs. So if you're not familiar with pharm, I know you're probably like, what in life? But they all end in thromycin. So I remember they had like the mice, the throwing mice. So I think you guys are getting the picture of what it does. It creates pictures with the endings of the words, and it basically just creates a whole picture. So I'm actually going to show you guys the one on the macrolide so you guys can kind of see, and it's right here because I had it saved in my playlist, and you can make playlists and stuff. So I had antibiotics, antihypertensives, cholesterol, diabetes. This is all like farm stuff when I was back in farm. You can bookmark it, you can search it, so that it's videos, and it'll also play out the video. So I'm just going to show you guys, make an example, because it's going to be easier for you guys to see than for me to say it.
Macrolides by the vibrant display of macaroni lights strung up at the happiest place on earth where mice are thrown. These medications are broad-spectrum antibiotics that commonly end in the suffix thromycin, shown by throwing mice. They are considered bacteriostatic, shown by the bacteria being shocked, meaning that they don't directly kill bacteria, but instead inhibit their growth. Macrolides are often used as an alternative.
Okay, you guys, so that was about like maybe 10-second clip. Usually each of them are about less than 3 minutes. So I really love that because it's a quick thing. You get your information fast. It's not like you're just watching a drawn out long video, which I really enjoyed with this, because when it came down to the antibiotics, there were a ton of antibiotics, maybe like 12 of videos for you to watch, and I would just be like, all right, today's my night. And I could have this at night, like when I was getting ready to go to sleep, I was just watching my videos. I mean, it was just a fun way to study. Okay, like I just can't say more good things about this app, you guys. Like, it is so bomb. I've never used a study app ever. Like, I never used anything in nursing school. Like, I don't know where I was. Clearly I was under a rock, because my nursing bestie Jaris said that she used this in nursing school. And you guys, I was actually introduced to this app by one of my classmates. She was like, girl, I'm on this Picmonic thing, like, get on it. So we bought the 1 year, because we're gonna be in farm for 2 semesters, and it's just amazing. Like, you guys just need to at least try it out. Like, I don't want to just sit here and tell you guys everything about it, but this thing is amazing. There's also quizzes on here that you can like quiz yourself, and just, I love that it also has like information at the bottom. I mean, so it'll give you considerations, side effects, indications, the mechanism of action. It's just everything on here. So you guys are probably wondering if this is only for pharmacology, and the answer is no. There is anatomy and physiology on here. Yeah, there's anatomy, there's physiology, there's body systems. So it'll take you within each body system. So fluid, electrolytes, cardiac, GU, everything, you guys, like anything healthcare related, endocrine. There's also books on here that you can access. And another thing is that when you sign up, it'll ask you like, are you in nursing school, are you a nurse practitioner, are you in medical school? So it'll target the Picmonics or the pictures to your discipline. So if you're in nursing school, you don't need to know like things about prescribing, but in NP you do need to know those considerations. So my Picmonics are more based on that. And you guys, this matched up so perfectly with what my instructors were teaching. So that's another pointer that I wanted to throw out about this. It's not like I was learning random stuff that weren't on my lectures. Like everything that was on here was on the lectures. Basically how I used the app was that I would watch my videos and make my little notes. Like for example, like I said, the macaroni lights. So when I was on my PowerPoints and taking my notes, when I got to the erythromycin section, I'll be like, okay, parentheses or like quotation mark, macaroni lights. And girl, when I tell you, that was just engraved into my head. Like I was on the on the test, like macaroni lights, and I remember this is like an alternative to penicillin. Like you guys, I still remember all of the, like a lot of the things from the app. I mean, antihypertensives, I could tell you right now, the ACE inhibitors, I remember the ACE card, and they were sitting around a table. There was a dead heart, which indicated heart failure. You guys, this is all engraved. So, oh yeah, I'm getting so like excited because it's just bomb. Like I cannot tell you guys anything else. This is the way to study for hard courses. I cannot believe that I was so late on the bandwagon. Like had I known about this back when I was in AMP, patho, like back in nursing school, girl, this would have made my life so much easier to study. So that's why I'm literally sitting down and telling you guys about it and going so in depth with it, because it's such an amazing thing to have. You can also pull it up on your computer, you can save the videos, you can access it offline. So if you're like on the go in the car, in the drive-through waiting, you have your videos to look back at. It's a super fun way to learn. It just wasn't dragged on. Like I said, it wasn't like I was watching some boring freaking lecture, because you guys know sometimes the teachers will direct you to like YouTube videos and it'll be like these 1995 videos, just like, no. Yeah, this is literally bomb.com. I will leave the link down below. You guys know I've always had the link down below. I like literally anybody that asks me is down there. I know you guys got onto the Picmonic flow after I like mentioned it in like a random Snapchat one day, and you were like, girl, does it work? I'm like, yes. Like I was just so excited about it, like telling everybody like sign up. Like everybody in my class, like we all use it for health assessment, everything. I mean, we just love it, so it's bomb. Okay, and then the last little study tip that I want to give you guys is to take it day by day. When it comes down to hard courses, it is a lot of content, it's a lot of material, it's just a lot of information, and you can definitely get like that information overload. You know, when you're starting the week and you get like the work that you need and it's like 20 chapters and it's so much, like you're going super in depth with like the body systems, and it's just a lot. Like I know that it's a lot. I'm going through this currently right now with health assessment. It is so much. Like they will literally give us chapters upon chapters of material that we need to know. We're learning how to handle equipment for assessments. I mean, it's just so much. The biggest tip that I use and that I want to give to you guys is to just take it day by day. You have to organize your study. So get a planner. You guys know I'm all about my planners. Get a planner and break down your study days. Like organize yourself, okay? That is the biggest thing when it comes down to hard classes, because it's a lot. It's just a lot of material and you just have to stay organized. All right, you guys, so that is going to be it for this video. I know this was pretty long. I really hope that it was helpful for you guys. These are like generic tips, but literally they're gonna make a big difference. They're gonna make a big difference in your study routines. Make sure that you know your study style so that you're not wasting time trying to study and learn in a way that is just not for you. So learn that, and I think that once you get that down packed, it makes it easier, because now you know how to attack these big classes. So yeah, good luck to anybody going into these tough classes. I know that you can make it. Trust me, the classes end, okay? You just have to stay on top of your information. Just stay on top of your info. Study. I mean, that's an obvious tip. You can't just expect the information to be in your brain and you're not studying. So make sure that you're studying. Get onto Picmonic, please. Like, just try it, okay? I mean, you just have to try it. Sign up for the trial, try it out, and yeah, you don't have nothing to lose. Literally just do the trial, and trust me, you're gonna be in love. So yeah, hit the link down below. It is down there for you guys. It's also a 20% off with my referral, like classmate thing that we do. Since I'm already a user, I get that 20% off because I'm already like in the classes enrolled. So I think my link will have like my full name that I use in school, but it's I'm giving it to you guys. So go ahead and join the Picmonic, okay? And that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here, and make sure that you're following me on Instagram and Snapchat. And yeah, that is kind of it. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Good luck with school, and let me know how everything goes down in the comment section down below. If you have any other tips, make sure to drop them below so that we can share. the knowledge with everyone. And yeah, I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.